I'm choosing to be an optimist about this. I recall you being an optimist about the Malgin for Marchment trade. He had played. Malgin played over 200 games with the Panthers, and he's younger. I've heard it before. Where is he now? Let's go! Ladies and gentlemen, it's a little ridiculous. Good boy. Play all the hits. Left the Toronto Maple Leafs. Let me finish. How am I supposed to go to bed after watching that? I'm quite hyped. With you wherever you are, welcome to LFR. I thought the logic behind that trade was fine. It was fine. It was fine. The logic behind letting Pickard and McElhinney go for Sparks was okay, listen, stop asking questions. Leafs, half win. 3-2, they lose in overtime to the Florida Panthers. And despite people trying to spin a certain narrative, I am choosing to be an optimist about this. Stop saying the word narrative when I present you with facts that are correct facts, you big baby. Let's talk about that game. So what do we got here? I'm choosing to be an optimist. What is the pessimist's view of this game? Well, number one, they lost. Is that bad? Yes. Always bad. They're not going for the tank, and they lost. They're trying to be good, and they lost. Mason Marchment was a big part of that. Lost. But the Leafs didn't lose the Mason Marchment trade tonight. They lost it a long time ago. Probably the biggest one, Michael Bunting went down with an injury, and it looks like he's going to miss some time. He had a nightmare of a start to this game because there was debate as to what was the reason he was missing the game. He took an awkward fall behind the Panthers' net. It could be that, but oh, look, there's this clip of him getting hit in the face with a puck. It must be that he got hit in the face with a puck. No. Here's what Sheldon Keefe said. From Sportsnet's Luke Fox, Michael Bunting is going to miss some time, per Keefe. Keefe says it wasn't puck to the face that injured Bunting, appears to be right leg, but nothing specific confirmed. It was an awkward fall behind the Panthers' net. I couldn't tell, it could be a number of things. Knee, ankle, it was weird, and he skated off on his own power, which is encouraging, but that doesn't mean he didn't do serious damage. Now, the reason I automatically thought knee with Michael Bunting wasn't just watching the play, it's that I know he suffered a knee injury in the past. It was an MCL injury. This came in his first OHL season with the Sioux Greyhounds, the one that got him drafted by the Arizona Coyotes, and it's probably a reason why he didn't go lower in the draft, because he aced the VO2 max that year. I believe he had the top score of all the 2014 draft picks invited to the Combine. But he still went in the 4th round, and part of that was the MCL injury. But I went back and looked at my interview with Michael Bunting from 8 years ago now on theleafsnation.com, and that injury was to his left leg. So what does that mean? Nothing. It's not good to hurt your leg, regardless of whether or not you hurt the leg before. It's just the pre-playoff vagueness that's making me stressed. He's gonna miss some time? That's not a thing, Sheldon. Watch this. That's some time. That was some time. It wasn't a very large amount of time, but it was some time. You know what else was some time between us and the dinosaurs, Sheldon? What are you talking about? Go Raptors! I could save this for the end of the video, but I'm gonna do it now since it was the number one thing that I was asked in the questions tweet. How do you see the lines without Bunting, who is expected to miss some time? Now, I talked about this on a recent episode of the Steve Dangle podcast, just from last week. You know, people were asking, why don't you replace Wayne Simmons on the 4th line with this guy or that guy or that guy? And I said, well, Wayne Simmons plays a certain role, a role that he plays very well. Not very many other people in the organization can play that role. If the Leafs are going to replace him in the lineup, it needs to be with some sort of game breaker. So if you're taking the Leafs' current lineup, like what they have right now, and the guys who are scratched, Abruzzese wasn't in this game, Spezza wasn't in this game, that's a big deal. I don't think you've got it. Like in the past, we've talked about who could replace Jake Muzzin. When Jake Muzzin was healthy, especially last year, he was the least replaceable player on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Well, they have Auston Matthews. The least replaceable defenseman. That doesn't mean he's the best or the most skilled. It just meant no one else in the organization could do what he does. Earlier this season, the Leafs tried to replace him for a little while, and they were like, Christian Rubens? And it turns out there's a decent little chasm between Jake Muzzin and Christian Rubens. Likewise, I'm looking at the scratches. I'm looking at the guys currently in the lineup. I'm looking at the guys on the Marlies. Who the heck replaces Michael Bunting and what he does? But also, they seem like they finally figured out something with the second line, and the third line looks so comfortable, and having Willie, Austin, and Mitch on the first line is super fun and super effective. I don't know if it's good for the rest of the lineup. It could work. Check this out from Jonas Siegel. Auston Matthews, Mitch Marner, and William Nylander logged just over 8.5 minutes together tonight. Shot attempts for and against 19-3 in their favor. Shots on goal 9-1, and expected goals 97.8. That line was stupid, dumb, ridiculous good, keeping in mind that that is on the road. The Florida Panthers had the pick of the litter in terms of how they guarded them. They had every opportunity to put out their best defenders, their Barkov every single time if they wanted to. And the Leafs still caved them in. But can you still roll 3 lines like the Leafs have been and use the 4th line as kind of a battering ram? I don't know if that's the move going forward. I don't. So during the stream, the Watch a Leaf Game with Steve Dangle stream on the Sportsnet YouTube channel, I'm like, what about Ilya Mikheyev? And very briefly, they tried Ilya Mikheyev, who then got into a fight with Sam Bennett. Ilya Mikheyev thought it was a good idea to fight Sam Bennett, who routinely and underratedly turns faces into mulch with his surgically repaired wrist. What's wrong with you, Ilya? While he was in the middle of this opportunity. So now the Leafs are down to half of the left wingers that they started the game with. And we're getting to the point where it's like, Engvall? Do you do Engvall? Blackwell? Should we do it? I like him, but like not like that. And the Leafs got 3 games left. 3 regular season games, and one of them's tomorrow. You gotta go stupid, dumb, ridiculous. I think like 1 period auditions at a time. You try Mikheyev, you try Kerfoot, you try Engvall, you try Blackwell, you try Abruzzese, maybe, and then who do you call up from the Marlies to maybe give him a shot? And I think it's down to probably Nick Robertson, who is not the Nick Robertson you remember. He's been very good in the American Hockey League recently. Or Alex Steeves, who only had a cup of coffee with the Leafs and battled an injury, but go look at his AHL numbers. They're very good. Under the radar guy, Pontus Holmberg, who just joined the Leafs from Sweden. Actually, sorry, he just joined the Marlies from Sweden. Just got here. And all of a sudden you'd be throwing him with Matthews and Marner. I want to see it. But man, the playmaking touch, the goal-scoring touch, the agitation, the net front presence, Michael Bunting is going to be extraordinarily difficult to replace. Now, this game started much more optimistically. TJ Brodie puts the puck off the corner boards and Mitch Marner blasts a one-timer where the pass came from the boards. Don't see that too often, and you don't see it go in too often, and he scores his 35th of the season. 40 is not highly realistic, but it is still possible. That happens less than 5 minutes in. Less than 5 minutes to go in the first period, Justin Hall walks in. He blasts it, and guess what? It goes off of Radko Gudas and in. And all of a sudden, recovering from an 8-1 embarrassment just a couple nights ago, the Leafs are up 2-0 over Florida, a frustrated-looking Florida Panthers team in their own barn. Blue and white all around, soup chants from the rafters and on. This is the Leafs' night. No, it is super not, said the hockey gods who took away Michael Bunting from the game and then the lead as well. This has happened a few times on the streams and with the LFRs and even on Twitter. Every time I compliment Justin Hall, every time I talk about how his 3 goals this season and 22 points, those are both career highs, and how it's inspirational that he's been able to bang out over 200 career NHL games despite what Babcock nearly did to his career with 11 games and 70 plus of them as a healthy scratch. 71 of them, because it's not that hard to do the math when he played so few games. Every time I compliment this guy, he whispers, "You shouldn't have done that." He has the ill-advised pinch in the Florida end. William Nylander is covering for him. Mason Marchment charges in on William Nylander. Here's a picture of how it went. William Nylander is going the way that William Nylander is facing. Mason Marchment is going the opposite way of that. Look at Nylander's feet. He ain't turning around in a hurry. This is going poorly. Look at TJ Brodie over in the corner. That's hilarious. He's like, is this my problem? Yeah, that's going to become my problem real quick. And it does become his problem, but he can't catch him, so it quickly becomes Jack Campbell's problem. He poke checks it away, and it lands right on Sasha Barkov's stick. Oh, that's good. That's great. That's fun. That's a barrel of laughs! And then he snipes it. The Panthers are on the board. No fun. That's bad. Later in the period, TJ Brodie takes a penalty on Jonathan Huberdeau, and it's probably good that he did on account of Huberdeau would have scored. He kind of leads the league in points. But, Brodie kills penalties. That's not good that he's in the box. Well, at least they got McKay. Oh, no, he was in the box for this too because he was serving as fighting major. Ilya! Get a grip! It was kind of awesome, but get a grip! Of course, Jonathan Huberdeau puts up a point anyway because he's Jonathan Huberdeau. He gets one of the assists on Claude Giroux's goal. I thought Jack Campbell had a spectacular game, and if you were wondering whether or not this goal was his fault, no. It wasn't. Panthers do a great job screening, and honestly, the Panthers ate the Leafs alive in front of the Leafs net during their big comeback win. I think that was a few weeks ago. The Leafs had the 5-1 lead. It's okay. We don't have to talk about it at length. But the Panthers ate the Leafs alive in front of their own net. The Leafs did such a better job in this one. And this is the one instance where they really failed. Then the third period rolls around. Sheldon Keefe is reeling because the Toronto Maple Leafs have given up a 2-0 lead. He is without his top line left winger, and he is trying to figure that out on the fly. There was a fighting major to his second-ranked left winger. That was a bunch of fun. So he's just trying to figure it out. And despite all that, to me, visually, the Leafs were the far more dangerous and opportunistic team in the third period. They only outshot the Panthers 12-9, but I thought they played a resilient, responsible, grinding, great style of hockey. Credit where credit's due. I know he's hot and cold, but this year he's been almost entirely hot. Sergei Bobrovsky was spectacular in this game, and in particular was spectacular in the third. Several amazing saves. The Leafs should have had a bunch of goals. Kampf hitting the post. Matthews and Marner both having a crack at the same puck with an open net in front of them. They could have won that game, and they didn't. I know that doesn't sound very good. I know you probably wouldn't say that if they had lost let's say, Game 7, for instance. But in terms of you can't win them all games, you can't win them all. I thought the Leafs played great. And frankly, I thought they were the better team. But the game went to overtime, which is basically, that's curtains. Starts poorly immediately. Mackenzie Weegar getting a breakaway. Jack Campbell, unbelievable pad save. Mitch Marner had an opportunity with Austin Matthews. Marner slows up. I thought he should have kept going. Forget Matthews, you got the lane. Go. Barkov catches up to him. Nylander and Tavares have an opportunity. Now, people were ragging on Tavares for the foot speed. What really ended this was that Nylander accidentally tripped over Tavares' feet behind the Panthers' net, and once he fell down, that's it. It's an odd man rush automatic. Mason Marchment, because of course it's Mason Marchment, with actually an excellent, excellent pass behind TJ Brody, finds Brandon Montour, who just book right between Jack Campbell's wickets, and the Panthers win. And here's why they won. Tonight, Brandon Montour... I'm sorry, Florida Panthers PR, can you get your account verified? I'm sorry, it bothers me. Tonight, Brandon Montour scored his first career overtime goal. Oh, that's good. That's nice that he got it first. Helping the Panthers extend their winning streak to a club record 13 games. You talk about a team humming heading into the playoffs. The Panthers won 13 straight. Oh, but wait, there's more. His goal marked Florida's 13th OT goal in 2021-22, the most in one season in NHL history. Again, there are two ways to look at this. You can look at it as the nice guy, or you can look at it as the hater. The nice guy looks at that and says, wow, isn't that cool that the Florida Panthers, a team that got here not all that long ago, now owns the NHL record, a league that has been around for over 100 years. They hold the NHL record for overtime wins in a season. 13 times they have won a game in overtime this season. 13 times they have won a game in the most exciting way possible. Isn't that splendid and fun and exciting? The haters' way of looking at that is the Florida Panthers have won 13 games that are literally impossible to win in the playoffs. There is no 3-on-3 overtime in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Those games will not be there when push comes to shove. So just keep that in mind, that 3-on-3 overtime won't be there to bail you out. Hey, I'm not saying that's how I look at it. I'm saying that's how a hater would look at it. Now, let's not exchange barbs about the last time we won a playoff series and stuff like that. I don't think, you know that saying about glass houses? Neither of us have a house. Neither of us have one. They both cracked and broke a long time ago. No, Panthers fans are probably going to have to deal with that feedback. Not unlike how Leaf fans have to deal with, yeah, you broke all sorts of franchise records and your team's been great this season and you're fourth place in the NHL, but can you get it done in the playoffs? So the Florida Panthers are literally the greatest 3-on-3 team in NHL history. It is provable. Right there. Like, they could probably take on many all-star teams at the all-star game on account of, those teams don't even try when they're out there. They could probably take them on, and it is going to do them this percent, 0% good in the playoffs. So if you look at it from that perspective of the lens of every game as a playoff matchup, if you look at it that way, are you concerned that the Leafs lost a game in 3-on-3 overtime? I'm not. Generally, I thought the Leafs were solid defensively. They got good goaltending. They faced a little bit of lineup adversity. They lost their first line left winger. That's a big deal. No, it is not someone of the talent of Austin Matthews or Mitch Marner, but it's a big deal. They've been an unreal unit together. And for me, despite all that, for most of the game, they looked like the better team. And again, they got defense, they got goaltending. What else do you want? A lot of people are always telling me not to freak out so much. You don't freak out so much. I think this is fine. And not like the meme of that dog there's a fire around him and he won't move. Not that kind. I mean, like, actually fine. George Parrow's coming out of a box like, did someone say fine? Not that kind of fine, George. Get back in the box. Okay, did you like my fine against Mikhail Sergachev? You never fined Mikhail Sergachev. Ha, I know, peace. God, that guy sucks. Anyway. Questions. What scared you about tonight? What made you feel good about tonight? Are you okay? Should I feel okay? Can I answer those in like reverse order? Yeah, you should feel okay. Emily, is it? Emily. You should feel okay. Relax. Am I okay? I have a baseline of just hanging on. I'm okay. I'm a high-pitched okay. I'm okay. I wouldn't say I'm okay. I'd say I'm okay. That's where I'm at. What made you feel good about tonight? When games go to overtime, when I'm doing the Watch a Leafs game with Steve Dangle streams, when a game goes to overtime, I grab a beer and like I make a big show of it. And so I got to drink a beer while I was doing my job. That was pretty great. I mean, I'm doing that right now, but like I'm the boss. Like I own this. I super don't own the Sportsnet YouTube channel, but it's still cool. And I think that's great. Beyond that, I mean, has there been a bigger question mark over the past few months than the Leafs goaltending? And yeah, you can choose to worry about, they're one injury away from Källgren, and I don't know if that... Guys, cross that bridge when and or if you get there. Jack Campbell is in net, and Jack Campbell has looked pretty gosh darn good. That made me feel great. What scared you about tonight? Talking to thousands of people from a live broadcast in my house. Yeah, you'd think after all this time, no, it's still terrifying. No, it's really, like so much can go wrong. But it didn't. We had a couple technical, it didn't. Is it safe to say Jack's slump was him trying to play through injury? Or is that just Lucy setting up the football? No. I said this during the stream. Like, people forget, and I guess that series is permanently tainted on account of the Leafs lost it. Jack Campbell was not the problem. He had a better save percentage than Carey Price by the end of it. There's no... Again. That series is going to cause me physical pain for the rest of my life. Jack Campbell was fine last year, and he's fine now. Oh, but what about? Stop talking about the past. He's fine now. They need him to be fine in 2 weeks, okay? It's good that he's fine now. Him being fine now makes it more likely he'll be fine in 2 weeks, all right, than him being fine in November. As for why he's fine now, the injury, I don't know. I'm not his doctor. Will Mason Marchment ever sell the team? What do you mean, will Mason... Oh, because... You see, what Justin means is Mason Marchment owns the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's clever. It's pretty clever! So, that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. You know, you're all going to look real silly when Dennis Malgin comes in the lineup and replaces Bunting and looks great! What do you mean that can't happen and is not allowed? Shoot!